Welcome to episode 4, season 2 of the Bulls Recap Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can obviously find me in the Sun-Times. You can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to do. You can be a subscriber to the great Cap station that's got everything. I have 242,000 subscribers, so people are popping that subscribe button. That's a good thing. I was thinking all day, how can I do this introduction? Because there's so many ways to go. I could go, I'm going to bring this young lad in who's at Ohio University. We're going to talk about NIL and playing in the MAC, where I'm from and know about the MAC. Then I'm like, I could talk about, I'm going to bring in this young woman who has done so many great things. Shoe deal with Isaac Okoro, little Bulls thing that we'll talk about. Ohio State University standout. Number 5 overall pick in the 24 draft class for the WNBA. And then I'm like, I got to go back to my roots. So the movie Young Guns was very influential in my life and our lives growing up. And what William H. Bonney used to talk about is pals. You got a couple good pals in this world. That's all you need. And I have some great pals, and this is one of them. Duane Sheldon. I'm going to bring in his daughter, Jacy Sheldon, and his son, Ajay Sheldon, and then we'll figure out who is who and who does what. Thank you guys for doing this.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so Duane and I grew up together after I was in the bad streets of East Cleveland and moved to the west side and Strongsville. Grew up with Duane Sheldon. Duane Sheldon obviously played at Baldwin Wallace, went on to become a coach at Baldwin Wallace. Great offspring. Met Laura. I was there when you met Laura. Married Laura. And then we got Jacy Sheldon, who is now with Washington. I got to kind of keep track of your teams. And then we got AJ, who's playing at Ohio University. And both of you guys played at Kaufman, right? Dublin Kaufman?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, first of all, I mean, there's so many different ways we could attack this. And I think the easiest way to do this is you are in college basketball right now. Duane, you coach college basketball. JC, you were very accomplished in college basketball. Now you're doing player development for Ohio State. You're still doing that gig, right?
A little bit, not as much. I got to go back and forth with DC and Columbus this year. So I'll be around, but not in the same role. Yep. Okay. So right now, just talking to some of the NBA guys and just talking to some of the guys, even with the Bulls that are just coming out of college, NIL, it just seems like it's kind of like the Wild West. And what's going to be the end game of this right now? So obviously you were at Ohio State when NIL kicked in and started. You're just dealing with it now. What's that like as far as you guys talking to these coaches, probably negotiating a deal? Is it a set amount? I mean, how does that work for you guys? And what do you see as the future of this thing moving forward? Do you think this is something that they can cap? Because that's one of the things I was talking to Billy Donovan about when he was at Florida. Obviously, he didn't have these issues, but there has to be some kind of end game where if there's going to be equal footing, maybe it's a cap, maybe, the Power 5 cap at a higher amount and the MAC caps at a lower amount, and then even smaller conferences cap at even a lower amount than that. What do you guys see, all three of you? Because I think it's a topic that, I mean, who knows where this thing's going? I'll let AJ speak mostly on that. NIL was just starting when I was in, honestly, my last year of college. So it looked a lot different for me than it does now. Because now it's kind of, you're recruiting these people and you're telling them how much they're going to get. And that's not how it was when I was there. It was kind of, you're still getting these deals and they're big deals and they're good deals, but there's no set amount that you're getting. But, I know that's changed, and I know AJ's had to deal with that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say the same thing as Jace. She came in when she was leaving. I was coming in, so I kind of dealt with a couple years of what she's saying, where it's like you have a deal here, a deal there, you get a certain amount of money to where like this year it's more of like a concrete. We're gonna pay you this much, almost like a salary, and then obviously you have deals outside of that and stuff. But I think the biggest thing as of where it's going is I think the general manager is going to be something that's making its way into college basketball. That's going to end up being a pretty significant like role on most of these coaching staffs because I don't think it's gone everywhere. I think some teams obviously have a GM. I saw that. I think Steph is the general manager for Davidson. So I think that's one of the first mid majors that I've heard of having a general manager. But I think it's going to be very, very important in the future for other teams and programs to fill that role. And I think eventually everybody will.
So AJ, when you're at the MAC right now, which, you know, if someone really excels there, it basically becomes a stepping stone conference for them to try and get out. When you're there, are there other schools or other teams, whether it's bigger or smaller, at least reaching out to you and say, hey, we're just trying to get a feel of, you know, what your NIL deal is and if you're happy? I mean, it's almost like free agency without bounds. It's just an out of bounds free agency.
Right. Yeah. I think, especially at the end of the year, that's going to happen. The first however many weeks after the end of the year are crazy. I think everybody that's played any role at the college level at the end of the year probably got some kind of, you know, message or contact from another team talking about that. And I do think there is rules for that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you could really control it.
I also think, Joe, that, boy, 5 years ago, it was still illegal to have an agent, right? And now these young people have agents, and the athletes aren't even doing the talking, their agents are. And I think where the NCAA made a huge mistake was not getting out in front of this. So now they weren't able to set their guidelines and their policies. And now they're scratching and crawling from behind just when they think they have the $21 million, whatever cap it is, then someone sues them and they lose that and they go back to square one. So yeah, I think you're right. It's kind of the Wild Wild West. And I was talking to a coach the other day and they were talking about this player's agent, and it kind of blew my mind. Like, well, that's what's going on now from the time they're in high school into their college years.
So I go back and forth between Minneapolis and Chicago, and one of the funny things, one of the kids at my son's school is being recruited for both football and basketball. Jaden Moore, Minnesota, Iowa. I mean, but when you go in Dave's Hot Chicken, there's a poster of him, and he's a high schooler getting money for that poster. So NIL is not only in colleges. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing, Duane, are you seeing stuff trickle down? Because Dublin Kaufman obviously is really good at sports. Are you seeing it trickle down to that part of it yet?
Well, Ohio is still one of the states that does not allow that in high school.
Okay.
I think that's going to probably change soon. As a result, a lot of these top high school kids have moved out of Ohio and gone to prep schools, or
right.
If there is a prep school in Ohio that isn't part of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. So I want to say there's over 40 states, maybe high 30s, maybe low 40s that are allowing it, but Ohio is not one of them. But for, some of the comments I just made before about the NCAA, they're going to try to get ahead of it, or they're going to be behind it and, always scratching and crawling to keep up with it. So I think it's going to happen soon. But as far as Ohio goes, that is not allowed at this point.
It's funny because when you talk to some of these NBA guys that have come from college and you ask them if they think about going back, specifically Billy Donovan, he's like, hell no. You couldn't get me to. I'll just settle with my salary cap here and having a vice president of basketball operations that handles all that stuff. And I'll coach the guys that he brings in, and I'm good with that. I don't need all this transfer portal and all that stuff. And guys like Tom Thibodeau, who I speak to frequently, he did a big college circuit tour that just wrapped up, and that was exactly what he said: is hell no. I mean, this is the first time where guys would rather be at the pro with the drama and the kind of egos than rather be at college with all the uncertainty. So I think it really kind of says a lot about what's the answer for this moving forward. And so, which brings me to my next topic. We're going to go right from college to the WNBA. These are my opinions, Jace. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. Okay. Kathy Engelbert has watched this league surpass her mentality to run it. It's not about who's straight, who's not straight, who's who's old guard, who's new guard, who's black, who's white. It comes down to green. And this is an opportunity that I haven't seen any major sports have an opportunity to have laid at its feet. And she is stumbling it and kicking around and not understanding that there are so many billions of dollars waiting to be handled properly. And she is fixated on completely the wrong things. So that's frustrating to me because I love great stories. That's the profession I'm in, writing stories. And you got the WWE and the WNBA right now neck and neck as far as capturing attention of storylines that men and women can't get enough of, whether it's Caitlin Clark, Angel, Your Little Scuffle, whatever it is. I mean, and I just see a league that has an opportunity to capture this and become huge, where owners are, these small owners that are owning teams now are all going to be pushed out by big time billion-dollar guys. Mm-hmm. What say you, all three of you? Because obviously you live with it, you live it, and you raised it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so many things right now. Opportunity is what I think of, obviously going into this new CBA negotiation. But yeah, I think we're just at a time where we need obviously leadership, and I think that comes from within the players and communicating within Kathy and her team, and the owners, and coming to decisions. And I know you see a lot about salaries right now, but I was actually talking to our vets today, and there's so many other things that need to improve in the W.
Right.
Obviously, salary is one of them, and getting this, not only the max up, but getting everybody's salary up. But retirement is another one. Travel is still one. Training staffs. There's so many things that people have no idea about that need, changing in the W. And it's an exciting time because I think we are stepping into those conversations, and obviously coming to agreement is another thing that hopefully we can do sooner rather than later. But I think it's a good time. It's a good time to be in the W. It's a good time to be a player. It's time, I think, for us. Our focus is just right now fighting for what we deserve in all those aspects. And I think hopefully, like I said, hopefully we come to that decision sooner rather than later. But so much opportunity with all the eyes we've gained, with all the attention, like you said, whether it's on the game, whether it's on the extracurricular, all of it. A lot of eyes on the W. So it's definitely the right time to make these changes. And I think just taking those steps to do that is the next step.
Do you guys, when you talk to the vets, do you guys discuss the idea of, just how captivating, and not that these are produced or they're just organic, which makes it great. Three years ago, I couldn't tell you 5 players that are in the WNBA. Now I flip through a channel, and if it's a game, especially if you were playing, or if it's anybody that I watched in that run when you were at Ohio State and in that Sweet 16, the Final Four, if it's anybody that's in that run or associated with that, when I was out in California and I was hanging with Sonny, you guys know Uncle Sonny, and Cameron Brink was working out in his facility, I'm like, well, when she eventually plays, I want to see her play. and so you search that out. So I just think that, AJ, am I crazy for just thinking that these storylines are, and it's different for you because that's your sister. So you have your own inbuilt storyline. But it's pretty damn entertaining compared to right now, your sport, where, I want to watch Cooper Flag. I'll get to watch him for 20-some games, and then I'm just going to get to cover him. What's the storyline there? Nobody hates Cooper Flag. Nobody was trying to take his head off. You had 1 year to watch him. He didn't have a rival. His rival is how good he's going to be and who's going to get him. It just seems the college men's game right now is lacking those storylines. Now, they might be in the MAC a little bit more because you have guys that might stay there longer. But I think it just hurts men's basketball compared to Duane when we were growing up. And I had Billy Donovan on this podcast. We were talking about Hoya Paranoia and Tark's UNLV running Rebel team. And when he was at Kentucky and the Fab Five, all that shit is just gone. And it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree. I think the inability to retain players and how hard it is now kind of leads to that, because you don't get to build up those rivals. Like Jacy, like she played against the same girls for 4 or 5 years, over and over. And I think that's kind of what builds the stories. That's kind of what, and you saw, and like you said, like those players played in the same spot and built a fan base for 4 or 5 years, and that leads to a bigger following, honestly. And like you said, in the men's game, that's kind of going away.
That's a good point, AJ. I think Joe, I think you hit it on the head. It's captivating. It's popular, and people want to say it's because of one person, and that one person is the head of the monster. There's no doubt about it. And it brought many eyes to the game. But in the reality is, if you sit there and watch those games, you know, the old timers, it's women's basketball. No one wants to watch that. If you watch it, sometimes it's better basketball. The way it's played, it's entertaining. It's obviously not at the same level as the men, size and athleticism, but they're very entertaining to watch. It's good basketball. And I think you hit it on the head earlier with it's a billionaire's business now. It's not, and even 5, 6, 7 years ago, a lot of these ownership groups and some currently that can't keep up, they got to sell their team or, you know, it's just the demands of that league, but it's awesome. I mean, it's a great situation, and you're using your terms. It's a great story, and I think it will continue to be a great story. And I'm not sure there's any league that's ever gone through this explosion in this short of time. And maybe there is, but
there's not.
You know, when the commissioner, you know, this is the thing, and maybe you can answer this. I'm sure I watch some of these interviews and stuff, and I think, well, the commissioner would probably like to tell us maybe some more stuff than she can, but I think she's in a tough position because if I remember correctly, how it works is she works for the owners too. Like the owners are the ones hiring her to, you know, protect their, and I realize she has to deal with both sides, but it's a tough challenge for anybody. And I'm really confident because of all those reasons you just said, it's going to work. I just hope, like to steal Jacy's line, I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Right. I mean, to your point, so I covered the White Sox for 12 years. I had a lot of Bud Selig, and he sent me letters, and he didn't really like me, and I was very critical of him because I thought he was a weak person. I thought he was a weak commissioner, and I pointed that out. I hated Goodell, but when Goodell came into the NFL, he basically said, yeah, I work for the owners, but guess what? It's going to feel like they work for me, and it does.
Yeah.
And I think a great commissioner, David Stern was just it was like a mob boss, but he inherited a mess and made these owners billionaires, so they loved him for it. Right. Silver, the owners respect him, but he's more about the players, and the players love him. And so
I agree.
I think you can get a commissioner in there that, I do understand that the owners have to approve me, and I do somewhat have to work for them, but they have to trust me because I'm going to make them all rich, and then it's going to feel like they work for me. And she is not it. She just, unless there is some big turnaround, she is not it. And we'll see how it plays out. Duane, you brought up the head of the snake. I have to bring up Caitlin Clark. You okay, Jacy? I can bring her up, right? So here's my thing with her. I think this explosion that she has, the eyes that she has brought, is very Tiger-like, but she hasn't won like Tiger. So that comparison can't be made 100%. But the money she can make everyone else. But the great thing about Tiger is Tiger had rivals. Phil, I mean, he had rivals. And without those rivals, there's no Tiger, because you wanted to see Tiger on Sunday, but you wanted to see, can Phil finally catch him? Can the field finally catch him? So I think there is some of that from a financial standpoint by Caitlin, but because I've heard this Tiger comparison with her. So I think the money and the revenue is a fair comparison of what she can bring in, but she hasn't won. So the Tiger thing is out the window for me, because did she ever win a national championship in college? No. Correct?
No, she didn't.
No. Indiana went on a very deep run this year. She was in street clothes. So I think she's great. I think the eyes she's brought on it, I'm not taking anything away from her. So I'm very careful about the Tiger comparison that people make, because Tiger won, and that's what made him great. She still hasn't won, but I do get the comparison as far as the eyes and the money and what she's kind of done for the game. She's the head of the snake, and anyone says that she isn't is kind of full of themselves. which brings us to the day before my birthday, June 17th this year. Now, Duane, you were in the arena, correct?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
AJ, where are you when this game happens? Are you watching
I was
it?
actually asleep when the game was going on. So I woke up.
So I'm gonna guess you woke up to a shitstorm on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
All right. For anyone that doesn't know, allegedly there was an eye poke. There wasn't an eye poke. Whatever it was. And here's what people don't understand. Your rivalry with Caitlin goes all the way back to the Ohio State, Iowa days. And I mean, they were great games there. I mean, there was Big Ten championships on the line. There was, I mean, just pride on the line. And I think, I thought you did get Ohio State did get the better of Iowa in those matchups, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you always guarded her as tough as anyone guarded her.
Not in college. We didn't guard each other in college.
No, in
the
pro,
W, yes.
in the W.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And she obviously there was some stuff earlier in the game said between you two. Take us to exactly what happened in your eyes.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if it's because we're girls. I don't know if it's because people don't. I mean, if you watch the NBA game and the amount of crap talking,
it's
the whole game.
ridiculous.
It's the whole game.
The whole game.
And girls, it's not much different. And honestly, there wasn't too much of it that game. I think, for me, I love the defensive end of the game, especially when you're guarding a player like Caitlin. I mean, when you're guarding a player like that, it's fun. It makes the game more fun.
Because of how, I mean, she just is just going to run around, cut through screens, and just.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop.
Okay.
You have to be locked in the whole game. And then obviously the eyes on the game. It's fun. And if you're a competitor, you like those environments. You like hostile environments where the crowd's cheering against you. That's what you get excited for. And so yeah, I think for me, it's just making things as hard for her to do, like hard as she has to work as hard the whole game. I think
Exactly.
Being a pest defensively, picking her up full court. Going into that game too, that's my job. So I think that was my focus. And like I said, it's a fun game. I like to play defense as hard as anyone. So just making sure that's the focus the whole game. And like the extracurricular, you can't really control that. I think that's part of the game in the NBA, and that's part of the game in the WNBA. It's what makes it entertaining. But for me, that's one of the most fun games I played in all year, to be honest. Like I said, a hostile environment like that, that's what athletes love.
Were you after that happens, are you like, someone's going to come get me? I know there's got to be some kind of retaliation coming, because it's just, I know someone's going to think that it was on purpose. And
yeah, honestly, no, I had no thought of that.
Okay.
Was not on purpose. So no part of me thought that anything like that would happen.
Right.
But it did. So it is what it is. But no, during the game, I had no thought. I was just out there playing hard defense, and that's what my focus was the whole game.
Do you guys, is there any talk after, whether it was with Sophie? Have you talked to her since about the incident, or that was it and you guys really have never talked about it?
No, we haven't talked about it since.
Okay, so Duane, you're in the stands, and I'm a dad. So if I'm in the stands and I see this going on, what was your reaction? I mean, your daughter, you know how competitive she is, and that she embraces that kind of stuff. She's like,
yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it because I know that brings the best out of her. And when she's right, it's hostile in Indiana, and they do not like Jacy because she, her job is to stop their favorite player. And so I enjoyed it. At no point did I think anyone was in any danger. I think it was a highly competitive, fun environment. There was a few fans around us that made some comments, and I just.
Were you sitting in a family section where they could kind of tell?
I think there was only about 5 or 10 people there from the other team,
Gotcha.
but from our team. But yeah, you're sitting with the other fans, and they were kind of joking around with us, the fans around us, and I kind of made a joke like, "Hey, no offense, guys, but we've been in the middle of Iowa, Hawkeye Arena there.
Right.
This is nothing. Like,
yeah.
this is nothing."
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I think it was a fun experience. It maybe not the way that it ended was maybe the safest, but it turned out all right. And
Yeah.
I know both my kids that they eat that stuff up. They're built for that. And so I was just, more of a proud dad, not all the excess stuff that was going on, but the highly competitive part of it, I thought was great.
Were you guys surprised with, I mean, I guess you could, somewhat surprised, but were you guys surprised with the aftermath of it, of how much of it was all over the place, social media, all over, McAfee, everything the next day? I wasn't, because I still don't think, and Jacy, you brought up a great point. That's a dust up almost every night in the NBA, and no one says crap about it the next day.
Yeah.
But I think because of who it was, and because people still are caught on, did you see those girls fighting? And not realizing that the WNBA, when you have a game where you might not have the guys, the girls playing vertical like the guys do in the NBA, there's just going to be more car wrecks. There's just going to be more of that. And so I think people probably aren't used to it because they watch the NBA, and it's guys can jump a little higher and do things a little different where you don't see the run-ins. But I was kind of surprised that it dragged on for as long as it did. I thought it'd be a buzz for about a day, but it lasted for a while. Did you, first of all, Jacy, what was your aftermath of it as far as whether it's social media, and then and you two, how did you guys, what was your aftermath of what happened and how long it dragged on?
Yeah, I'm not on social media a lot, so I had a lot of people
bless your
sending
heart.
it to me. Yeah, I had a lot of people send
It's a
it to
cesspool, trust me.
I was actually watching First Take the next morning. I was watching Stephen A, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that me? Like, that was my first realization to, okay, this might actually be a big deal. But like I said, I had a bunch of friends and family send it to me. So that's when I realized how big it actually was. But at the end of the day, for me, I just like to hoop. I like to play. I love the game of basketball, and that's all it's about for me. That was kind of a reminder that, this is an entertainment business too. So I think that was my reaction. But like I said, at the end of the day, if I can go out there and play ball every day, that's all I care about.
AJ, I'm sure guys on the team are like, damn, dude, your sister.
Yeah.
They're still talking about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially like the people that know her, like, and even for me, like the people that know her and who she is, and she's kind of although she's really competitive, I feel like she's a very like genuine, like pretty self-controlled person. Like she'll be the first one when something happens. Like if she runs into somebody, she'll be like, I'm sorry. And like, it's basketball. You don't have to do that. And like, when I saw she was like in a fight, I was like, I didn't expect that. And then I saw it. I was kind of like, I liked it. I was like, okay, sounds like something that would happen to me. Like she was never like the growing up. That was never really like her. But that was more so me. So when I saw that, I was like, okay. I wake up to like 100, 200 notifications talking about it. I didn't even know what happened. I saw the video. I was a little disappointed when I saw the video, to be completely honest. Like your sister got in a fight. I'm like, what? I saw the video. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Duane, what about you? I mean, obviously you go back to school, and how much chatter do you have to deal with it?
It wasn't too bad. I think,
because I know you love the media, Duane. I know you love the media.
Well, being in Columbus, I think Jacy's been very popular throughout her whole high school experience, and really in the state of Ohio. So around here, there was probably more support of Jacy, and they bring it up, but it really. Like AJ said, how much can you really talk about it? I think it's funny. I kind of laughed when Jacy said she's off of social media, which she is. But her brother, I'm sure, would send her the funniest comments that were made about her, and kept to, is the humble pie for her. Hey, you should see what this guy said. And of course would send it to his sister. And so she got to see some of that stuff. But it wasn't too bad around here. It was like I said, Jacy's very popular in Ohio, especially in Columbus. So, people are just excited when she plays. And I guess if she wasn't famous already, she got famous real quick in a matter of minutes. So, I was teasing with her agents. Hey, you got one of the most popular athletes in the world for the next
right
week.
now,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Isaac Okoro, he on media day, he does his interview, or I'm sorry, the next day he does his first interview, and I go up to him after. I say, "Hey, I just want to, say hi. We have a mutual friend," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about you." So I figure one of the Sheldons already got to him, and I'm sure it was probably Duane. So,
Yeah.
Jacy, you signed a shoe deal with Holo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and Isaac are right now the main two people, or you guys the only two people?
Only two athletes right now. Yep.
Okay. And so you guys did, and I looked at the shoe. I mean, obviously I haven't tried it on, but I mean, the shoe, both of you, yours and his, I like the way they made it very like personable for you guys. They put little Easter eggs on each of the shoes that mean things to you. How did that come about? And then what was your experience with Isaac? Because obviously people in Chicago are very excited about getting a guy who is a willing defender on a team of a lot of unwilling defenders and a guy that plays with physicality on a team that is at times very soft. And this is all stuff I tell him, so it's not really off the book there.
I know.
So what is he like, and how did that whole thing come along where you have a shoe company reach out to you and you're like, whoa, my own shoe? I mean, Duane, you and I used to dream about that.
Holo, they reached out when I was with Dallas. So I got to know them, their family pretty quick, and they have a lot of the same values that I do, and they are really together, have a real family environment, which obviously is important to me as well. So we hit it off right away. Met Isaac pretty early as well, and got his experience with Holo. He obviously signed before me and was able to give me some guidance in that area. And even when designing the shoe, like I said, this process he's been through before. So he was super helpful. And I think Holo really focused on making it, personally for me and putting, like you said, little Easter eggs in there.
Right.
They put 3 little arrows in the logo of the shoe, which is the Down syndrome signal, which was awesome for me, just for Emmy.
Right.
And obviously she's an important person in my life. So I think just adding that in there, they put lead on the back of the shoe and included Laura, Emmy, AJ, and Duane, everyone in my family, and then get to on the back of the other shoe, which again is just kind of showing Emmy and how she changed all our perspectives. So they really made it personalized to me, which was important. And yeah, getting to know Isaac along the way and having someone else to kind of go to through that process was huge. And then obviously him being in Cleveland was awesome. We got to go to a lot of Cavs games growing up there and watching him play there. But connected with him a couple months ago at my shoe release and talked about the trade. I'm so excited for him. Sounds like he's looking forward to it and sounds like a good fit. So I'm excited to see what he can do there. Yeah,
this team, they got all excited about a 15-5 finish, and they go Miami and the play-in, and Miami just comes in and beats their ass. And I love Billy, but Spoelstra just out-coached him. Kobe White and Josh Giddey, Tyler Herro just gave him what to for right out of the gate. And you're like, yeah, they need something. They need somebody. So I love Lonzo Ball, great dude. Love his dad, love everything about him. But I was like, they need some physicality. And there's one thing I like about Isaac is he just seems like a dude that can come in and guys will feed off that competitiveness. So we'll see. I know people in Chicago are excited about him. I know he's excited about getting an opportunity after kind of getting diminished minutes as the year went on. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so you guys got shoes. Look at that. Look at that. You brought up your sister, Emmy. And I just want to tell this quick story, tell you just what kind of person your dad is. I remember she's born, Rob Persani, a mutual friend of all of ours, obviously, reaches out to me and he says, yeah, Duane and Laura, he gave me the story, Down syndrome. And so I'm like, all right, well, how do I approach this? And I remember the first time I talked to your dad, I don't know if Duane, you even remember this. I was like, dude, I don't know what to say, man. I feel awful. I'm sorry. And he was like, no, we're good. I'm like, and I was like taken back because I'm like, you're good. He's like, dude, you're good. It's going to be great. And damn, it's great. It really, everything he said, it's great. For people that don't know, please Google anything about Emmy Sheldon. She is the biggest star of the family. She's on a lot of broadcasts. She gets a lot of TV time. And what's that been like? First of all, I think that says a lot about your dad, that he wasn't shook at all. And I think a lot of dads, there'd be at least that first initial gut punch where you're shook and you're like, how am I going to do this? And he was just, I don't know. Whether it was just ignorance or just the makeup of his fiber. He was just like, no, we're good. We got it. And how important has she been to just for the family and the perspective you guys all have?
Well, I'll start. I think, we talk about this and talk about it a lot. Like, I don't think people realize how lucky we are to have someone like Emmy in our life.
There you
go. That is so true. That's just not a line. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but maybe what I want to say is, no, you don't understand what it's like to have Emmy. I feel bad for you. You don't have Emmy in your family, that kind of thing.
Right.
But it really, I think, has made us all better people. Especially I think it changed Jacy and Ajay. I think Jacy, you were 7, Ajay, maybe you were 4 when she was born. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I was 5.
5. All right. Well, maybe I got the years wrong, but anyway, I know for a fact it changed Ajay quite a bit.
Mhm.
Like, not that we were worried about him growing up, but he didn't have much empathy.
We were.
He's a typical boy. And it's like,
Rob Persona used to think Ajay was actually my kid because of his makeup, by the way. I'm just saying.
Right?
Rob's like, that's not Duane's kid, man. He's more like you.
Yeah, as you can see, that's why we were worried at some point. But no,
I get it. Yeah.
But no, I think it's made all of us better people, and we're just so lucky. And like Jacy said on her shoot, we get to be a part of her life, and she makes us. She's the you said it. She's the star. She's the light, and makes us all better. But I'll let Jacy and Ajay talk about her.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Age.
That's what I did. All right. Like he said, I think that was she changed my life in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of like my favorite qualities about myself now are probably because of her. So I think and just having her around, and even just right now, like when you go through life, you've bad days, you have different things that, you got on your mind. I go home and when I go home, I've never gone home and it's like, oh, Emmy's having a bad day. Like Emmy's ready to go. So if you don't bring your energy up, it's on you. And I've always loved that, because no matter what's going on, she always just keeps you grounded, and she puts, things in perspective. Because a lot of the opportunities, a lot of things that might not be going right, she might not even have that opportunity. And she doesn't care. You go home. It's Tuesday after school. She's having the time of her life. Like it's the best day ever. Her. She doesn't even know. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
No, they're both exactly right. I think for me, I think about her, and a lot of people don't even know. They know she has Down syndrome. She had surgery at what? How many months old, Dad?
6 months.
6 months old. Went into heart failure.
Yeah, I remember that.
Had heart surgery. So went through all these things, and everyone thinks she has so many obstacles, and she's the happiest person you will ever meet, and will cheer anyone up. And I think for me, it's like, all right, if I'm having a bad day, if I have a bad game, or maybe even if it's a bad day at school, all you got to do is think about her and everything she's been through, and your day's not as bad anymore. You kind of have no excuse, because if she can carry herself the way she does every day after everything she's been through, then what are we doing? But like Ajay said, it's a cheat code. We really do have a cheat code. That's a big reason why I went to Ohio State. I didn't want to go far from her. And I would do the same thing on a bad day, or when you're feeling down, you'd go see her, and it honestly changes everything. So like my dad said, we're just lucky to have someone like that in our lives. And I really do feel bad for people who don't have someone like Emmy in their life, because it
That's
changes
awesome.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And also, I'd like to point out, since my dad was so adamant on how it changed me. Jace, do you feel like it might have changed him at all? Do you
I
think
was actually gonna say,
trust me, it
his
did.
response.
That's how I saw it too. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Positive. Not that he wasn't positive before, but very positive now. Just yes, definitely changed.
That's very.
So, Duane, when you were
Oh,
raising these two, no, I mean, just go when we were. I mean, I remember when they don't remember, but when I was at your place at Olmsted Falls, I mean, you have athletic kids. Laura was a great athlete, but you don't know what exactly they're going to become. I mean, you don't know the level of where they're going to go. And I remember you always talk about Jacy's just a gym rat in the gym. And I remember you always talking about AJ. AJ, you were playing all three sports for a while. Weren't he doing football, basketball, and baseball?
Yes, sir.
And I remember he was like, oh, he's just kind of cocky. And Sonny's like, yeah, he's kind of got an attitude. And I'm like, Duane does not love that. I guarantee he doesn't love that. That's the last thing Duane loves in that house is an attitude. But did you foresee this where you have two Division I college athletes at the floor of of what those two were? That's just the floor. And then obviously what Jacy's done, and who knows what AJ ends up doing. I mean, whether it's academically, sports wise, whatever it is. Did you kind of put a ceiling on it and they went through that ceiling, or what was your mindset raising these two?
Well, that's a good question. The one thing about it is really at first, the only thing we pushed was how hard you had to play if you were competing. Right. Like if you were, Jacy was a really good soccer player, and, I didn't know enough about soccer, but you better be playing hard and all that stuff. And they were both just ultra competitive. That's the piece that it wasn't. I think sometimes overbearing parents don't like it when their kids aren't as competitive as they are sitting there watching them. And people say, they're living through their kids. I don't believe that. I think most parents just want to see their kids reach their potential and do as well as they can do. And part of that is, a matter of urgency and effort all the time. So I think early, that's kind of what we stressed. They were very, very different. Very different. Jacy was very coachable. Whatever you told her to do, she did it. She did not go outside of that. Like, why should I work on anything else when I'm so much faster and I can take one dribble and shoot a layup every time? Why should I shoot outside? Like, AJ's a guy that he'll be out in the driveway watching Kyrie on his phone, practice the move, and AJ would shoot that move for the game winner the next game. And it, like, you got to be kidding me. But he had that level of confidence. So they were really different. As far as a time period where I figured out, Jacy, it was pretty obvious that she had a level of quickness and speed that nobody else had. Right. And then you add her competitive grit. That was pretty obvious. Whatever she chose to do, she was going to probably be pretty successful. I don't think we ever thought about a WNBA career or anything like that. AJ was very, very athletic, but AJ was a late bloomer.
Well, he's the only Sheldon that could dunk.
That's not true. But as you know, I was a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer too. And
you used to piss me off because I thought you could take over games, and I thought you were too passive.
Yeah. I wasn't as good as these two though. But my point is AJ was very, very athletic. He was a late bloomer. And once he got stronger and bigger, it was pretty odd. And, you were joking with him about football. I think he would have played football maybe his junior, senior year if he played through middle school. But then when the recruiting picked up, I think before his junior year, and he realized, hey, I'm probably going to have an opportunity to play Division I basketball, that kind of made his decision to try to stay healthy and go that route. But both two different journeys. It sounds like a line. We really weren't that concerned about it. And I think we're very fortunate because they both had a lot of opportunities as far as getting recruited. So for us, it was always, what's the best fit? We just got to make sure they're in a position where they're going to that next level is a good fit, not only sports, basketball wise, but the university, the coaching staff, all that stuff. So we weren't real overbearing, and they'll tell you, I didn't really push them ever to get in the gym. Once they found the love, they wanted to get in the gym. And even to this day, when they ask me to go rebound, it's like, yeah, that's all I do is rebound now. They don't listen to me about anything else. But that's actually what I've done for a long period of time now that I think about it. But they're so driven, and they had that unique opportunity because I was a college basketball coach and they were around it, so they could get to the gym anytime they wanted. And then being a high school athletic director, the same thing. So they've had opportunities that others don't have, but they've taken advantage of it.
Before I get you guys out of here, I do this thing called the interrogation room. I ask you guys all just some quick, hard-hitting questions. First thing that comes to your mind, have fun with it. Oh, before I do that, AJ, I got a trade that I wrote about, and I know you'll have some closeness to this. Reed Shepherd.
Oh,
you played with him AAU, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want Reed Shepherd in a Bulls uniform. Fred VanVleet's down. Kobe White, Io, they're all on one-year contracts expiring. Kobe White, the money works too. I ran it through. Kobe White to Houston for Reed Shepherd, because I think he's more on the modest timeline, and I don't think he's going to get fair minutes at Houston. And Tari Eason for Kobe White. I think it's a great trade.
Yeah, and if I was if I was an NBA GM, I'd do everything I can to get Reed Shepherd on my team. I
mean, I've watched him in Summer League the last 2 summers, and I'm like, how is this dude not getting the minutes? And obviously, Houston's in a different place as far as it's win now. You have Fred VanVleet go down. I think you almost need to go get a Kobe White. But again, I'm just a dopey writer. I'm not the genius that the GM for the Bulls is. Freaking genius he is, staying in mediocrity. All right, so we'll get you guys in the interrogation room. It's just going to float around. AJ, and don't lie. How many points would you average a game if you were suddenly thrown into the WNBA with your skill set right now?
I don't think you want to ask me that question. I don't know. I don't know if this question's good for anybody involved. I don't think that's the answer.
I'm going to guess 30.
30? Okay. You're sadly mistaken. I think we're closer to you're saying average?
Average, because you're going to be pulled out of the game if it's a blowout. Otherwise, it's 40-45.
That's actually a great point. And keeping that in mind, I would say 45. I think that's a good. I don't know. I think in the guys' game, I'm shorter than a lot. In the WNBA, I'm a pretty big human being.
So I don't even oversized point guard. You'd be freaking like Anthony Hardaway or Magic. I mean,
the worst question you could have asked him.
I just had to go right for the throat. You know me, or
Duane does. Yeah, that's as good as that question could have gone from my end as well. That could have gone way worse. Yeah,
this was a great interview. I
didn't play college basketball, and I think I could get 12 at this point in my life with this gray beard.
I can tell you that ain't happening.
No? Okay. AJ, scouting report from what you know about your dad's game. Scouting report on your dad's game, whether it was from what you heard of his college days. I want to see how close it is to what I think it is, and then Jacy, you're going to answer the same question.
Okay, I would say the scouting report. If I was coaching against him, I would say make him pressure him, try to deny him, make him give it up, because I don't think he's as aggressive as he probably should be, and I think if you deter him early, I don't think he's gonna go out of his way to get the ball and try to score. That's what I would say.
I think there's some truth to that. Okay, Jacy, your scouting report on him.
I would say I think scrappy defender would be on there. Could you shoot it, Dad? I think you can shoot it. Yeah,
he could shoot it, but he wouldn't.
Make him put it. He
now wait a minute.
So I say make him put it on the floor because
make him deck it.
He actually was a very underrated ball handler, so I wouldn't have him put it on the floor.
Joe, this is let me tell you this. They've probably seen this is a true story. One game, and it was Strongsville Mustangs against the Berea Braves on WVIZ. I don't know.
Was Cromer in the game? Was Cromer in the game? Duncan?
No, Cromer. This is the year after.
The only white guy that could dunk in Strongsville high school history?
was it 2 months ago? Someone sent it to me. It might have been Rob on the phone. The link, it's on YouTube, and I sent it to them, and that's probably the only game they've ever seen me play.
It is.
The Mustangs got a W that night, and but AJ made some really interesting observations, and I tried to explain to them we just played. Like, there wasn't skill work going on, right? Joe, we'd go to the parks and we would just play, and that's kind of what everyone did. And as a result, I think it was a better brand of basketball when I say that pass, move, like, but there was no, like, I think that was the first year 3-point line, maybe. And
no,
like,
it was first year 3-point line was the year I graduated 86. The 3-point line came in Ohio in 87. So I think it was the year after I graduated, almost positive.
But my point is,
these two are probably like, what? There was no 3-point line? If there was, the records that this kid could have had some.
but my point, it was a different game. But I'll never forget his only, like, one of the few observations is like, no wonder you guys can't get to the hole as much because everyone's in the paint, but you guys weren't allowed to carry the ball. It's the first thing he noticed. Like, everyone's hand was on top of the ball. There was no pausing and carrying, and that's something I would have never thought of. But that might be the only game that they've ever seen me play. But they got a kick out of just the people in the stands, and they showed Rob in the stands and stuff, and it was funny. They have
Here's my scouting report on your dad. Very good defender, very strong. He was always kind of strong. Offensive, I think he had everything, and he used about 50% of it because he just was unselfish and too passive. That was my always assessment on him. Because there were some times where he took over. Maybe we'll even get to that. JC, when's the first time you beat your dad one-on-one? Do you remember it?
Oh,
never.
Don't remember it. Did we play?
It never happened.
We played us 3-1, so I don't count that. I think I don't think we ever played.
Okay.
We played a cutthroat.
I don't count that. Like I said, I don't count that. What's today?
AJ, have you ever played him one-on-one, and when was the first time you beat him, if you did?
I think I won that. Did I not?
No.
The cutthroat game you guys speak of?
So let me, Joe will appreciate this. We played a cutthroat to 7 or whatever it might be. And I think AJ won the first game. And maybe it was the second game that I found a way to win, and I walked off.
I love that.
Line, Joe.
Love that.
It's like, who's got the
You're
belt?
only as good as your last game, so that's
who's
the
got
belt right there.
He's got the belt. Never played either one of them ever again, and never will. So
JC has no belt. She's like the IVF. It's defunct. There's no belt for her. I love it. Duane, is it true that you guys had a in-the-house hoop that you had to take down because there were a lot of hurt feelings?
I don't know about hurt feelings, but holes in the wall.
Bodies?
Hurt surroundings.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. It was funny because my wife is like, don't you think we should repair those holes? I'm like, no, not till we move, or like, there's no sense of doing it. And, part of why they're so competitive, it sounds kind of ridiculous, because they would literally fight every day and find ways to beat up on each other, and bodies flying, stitches. AJ's got a few scars and stuff from, going into the wall or whatever. And it was like every day. And then you thought, okay, they're getting older and they're maturing. And we moved down to Columbus, and you think, okay, well, they're going to grow up a little bit. Nope. Got worse as they got bigger. And so we always had that hoop in the open. We were fortunate enough to have an open foyer in the front door, and it was a war every day. So,
Duane, first name that comes to your head, pound for pound, best thrower of alley oops to come out of Strongsville.
Oh, Joe Cowley, hands down.
Still today, even today, I'm like, gave him the eyes back door.
Really? Yeah. Oh, you're really good at that.
JC, let's see. Oh yeah. Do you still put against North Carolina? Was it like 1.6 seconds left? Your biggest shot, or do you got something bigger that personally was bigger for you? Whether it's high school, college.
That
sent you guys to the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I believe
that might have been the biggest shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Both you guys. Do you guys think that your dad messed up by not making me the best man at the wedding and instead going with Rob Persani? You know Rob. I mean, not a lot of personality there. And then Duane, but then here's the story. Duane had to go to a wedding a couple months later for Cromer, where I was the best man. I had a presentation with paper. Hotel held it. It was like the life. It was Andy's life with me. And I drew him. He was always a stick figure, and I was like a big muscle thing, and I cut heads out of a magazine of like Rambo and glued it. It was great. That could have been your best man speech.
You're right. It was very impressive. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I got to be in there. It was a great wedding. Duane, it's time to fess up. True or false? Jacy is actually named after me because of the initials of not letting me be the best man. JC, Joe Cowley. Everyone used to call me JC. Little guilt from the best man thing. Time to fess up.
That was false. That would be false. But now that you say that, good story. I mean, I could roll with that.
We agree to disagree. We agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
Duane. Oh, biggest upset in sports. And these three options. Comeback at Kent State when we were down 16-1, games to 17 against Barth's team. That was pretty impressive.
That was.
Sonny and I, 2-on-2, in a blizzard in his front yard against you and Steve Gillespie, where I have probably one of the most elite catches ever made by a human being, pound for pound. Or when I got a bunch of bum pickup players and we beat the starters from Baldwin Wallace. True story.
Yeah. I don't know if I would call it bums, but saying that,
a couple of them are pretty good.
Without a doubt, up there with Georgetown, Villanova, it would be the 2-on-2 snow bowl in the front. And just to kind of give you guys an idea, the bank on the road from the snowplow was at least 6 to 8 feet high, and that happened to be the one end zone. So Mr. Cowley here was diving.
Sonny can do nothing but throw the football into a general area. Not accurately, just into a general area.
Whoever is covering Joe would stop. This maniac would dive and
wait. No one had dove into it yet. So I thought, because it was snowing, I thought it was going to be poof into a big cloud of snow.
No. It was.
I didn't know that it was about this much snow and the rest was granite ice. So I dive and I just stick and I get the wind knocked out of me, but I held onto the ball, but I'm just sitting there like, and I couldn't even breathe, but I made the catch.
That Vegas, boy, I don't even think they put it on the board that night because we were such a big favorite.
We had no chance. I don't even know why
without
those
a doubt.
Made. Yeah.
That's the biggest upset, without a doubt.
All right. You two, did your dad ever tell you that I went to Baldwin Wallace for a year, had an intramural team, had a girlfriend that was on the basketball team, and never had to go to class or pay tuition?
Because you weren't a student. You were not a student.
I technically wasn't a student, but I had his old ID, and one day I'm shooting in the gym because, I called it a gap year. They didn't have those back then, but it was a gap year for me. I'm kind of finding myself after I graduated. And I'm like, I should start an intramural team for a school I don't go to. And I'm shooting and I see this dude, Simon. I'm like, this dude can shoot. Meanwhile, he's transferring. He's about to start playing basketball there, but he's not there yet. So I call up John Hottel. I don't know if you guys know John Hottel. He played at Mount Union, 6'5". He's in a gap.
Yeah,
he's in a gap year for his life because he
also
dropped out of Mount Union.
Also wasn't a student, but wasn't a student conference player in the league at another school. So that might have been a dead giveaway.
Well, no. It wasn't at first. So, and then I got a couple guys that were there to play basketball but didn't make it. It was like Mike Brown and Duke Barth or whatever. We have an intramural team, just like that. There's not a lot of checks and balances, but okay. So we start I keep telling Hotel, don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. We win our first game. Second game, we're playing some fraternity. Some frat boy gets lippy with Hotel.
Oh, no.
He goes off for like 50 some. So in the second half, they're like, there's no way this guy goes there. There's no way. And then the next day, Mike Brown got an email saying they want to see everybody's ID and investigate our team. So we ended up undefeated, but we never got to finish the year out. So, yeah, I went and ate at the cafeteria. I dated girls there. It was great. I never had to go to class. I'd sleep there.
Gap year.
It was my gap. It was a gap year. Yeah. Last one. JC. The Fever call. They're interested in trading for you, but they want to know if you'd be willing to go there and play with the current roster. What would you tell them?
Like I said, I just like playing the game. So if I can play basketball, I'm in.
She's her mom's daughter. She's her mom's daughter. You guys, thanks for this. I had a blast. Hopefully you guys did.
Yes, sir.
And I need to actually see you guys face to face, not as little kids anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad and mom are awesome. Your whole family's awesome. Your dad still is a great friend. And we had, when you think about like great childhoods and growing up and stuff like that, he was a fabric of that. So I just wanted to have all you guys on and let you guys know how proud I am from a distance of what you guys have all turned into and become. And I think it's great. I think it's a great basketball story and a great family story. So thanks for doing this, you guys.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.